Hey Canucks fans, a very loose defensive effort last night led to the Canucks' demise. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Friday, November the 15th. I was at last night's game. I was there with my godson Daniel. I was there with my seat partner Jens. For those of you that are on Twitter, you know that anytime Jens and I are at the same game, we do some intermission reflections. And it was funny yesterday, in the second intermission, the score was 3-2 Dallas, and he predicted a 5-2 Canucks win, which was obviously physically impossible considering that Dallas had already scored 3 goals. Yet, we had a good time together catching up as well. The Larshiders were there doing their thing. The Canucks came back in the second period. It all set up to what was going to be, to me, a really exciting third period and conclusion to the game. But it was all for naught as Tyler Seguin scored, with a minute and a half left at the end of the second period, which I'll get to in a second. So overall, no shame in losing the Dallas Stars, despite how far below they are in the standings. It's because they haven't played a lot of games, and they had a horrible start to the season. They went 1-8, as I mentioned. They won 1 of their first 9, but since then they've won 9 of their last 11. And this is what I noticed about Dallas last night: is they're fast, and we talked about this yesterday in my intermission reflections with Jens. Dallas is fast. They are a fast team, and I would argue all 4 of their goals were because of transition and because of capitalizing turnovers and because of speed generated through the neutral zone. When you look at all 4 Dallas goals, actually, not one of them was on a power play or set up, from a standpoint of a long point shot or even a shot from the circles. All 4 goals were in the crease, near the crease, in front of Jacob Markstrom, cross ice. They were doing that a lot, trying to go for the cross ice passes, and their speed really showed, right? If you look at the 4 goals really quickly, on the first goal, it was the Horvat line that lost the face-off in the offensive zone, and the Stars turned it around very quickly and somehow made it a 2-on-1 off an innocent face-off play. I think Tyler Myers got beat wide on the right, and then it became, in essence, a 2-on-1 on Edler, and Edler didn't look great on that one. So that was the first one. Speed generated through the neutral zone. The second Dallas goal was that nice where Troy Stecher got walked a little bit, right? It was a really nice move and nice deke on him by Como of all people, and then he put it past Markstrom. But it was a really nice play. But it was Troy's again. It was a speed through the neutral zone. It wasn't like a set play, and then he was able to actually make Stecher look pretty bad on that particular play. And that was the second goal. The third goal, the Canucks seemed to be in control. And remember, this is the backbreaker. It was 2-2. The Canucks seemed to be in control in the Star zone. Jordy Ben went for a wrist shot that got blocked, and then that became a 2-on-1. Jordy Ben tried to make it a 2-on-2, but then it became a 3-on-2. In essence, some really good speed through the neutral zone again, and really nice tic-tac-toe play, and Tyler Seguin ends up putting it in the net. And that was the backbreaker, because that was 90 seconds left. Now the Canucks are going into the second intermission down a goal as opposed to tied. And the fourth goal, it's a little scrambly. Canucks are obviously opening up, trying to get the equalizer late in the game. So with 2.5 minutes left, Edler's pass up the middle or down the side, it basically through the neutral zone was batted down and led to another goal. So and it was a nice deke by the goal scorer. I can't remember who it was right now, but he put it. Oh, Redslov. He put it right through Markstrom's leg. So overall, all 4 Dallas goals, like I said, not off of set pieces or off stationary movement. That doesn't make sense. You can't have stationary movement. Not off a stationary play, rather all 4 generated through the neutral zone, and that just showed the speed that the Dallas Stars had. So they're a good team. They're a big team. They play the Canucks heavy, yet they're a fast team, and that's obviously they're built for playoff success if they can get there. The Central Division's always tough, but Dallas is really turning it around. It looks like they'll be a contender to get in the playoffs for sure, and then who knows what happens from there. So that's from the Dallas Stars standpoint. So Canucks fans, let me know what you think. If you're at the game or if you saw the game, watch the game, do you agree with me about the Dallas Stars speed? Their combination of speed and size, but really it was the speed and they're capitalizing on Canucks turnovers that really did the Canucks in last night. So let's talk about the Canucks side. Let's talk about the goaltending first. I mentioned last night this isn't a pal on Jacob Markstrom, and on one hand, I don't know what he's going through, but on the other hand, I do know what he's going through. I did lose my father as well. Obviously, I'm not a professional athlete, but I lost my father suddenly. My father was to a heart attack, not to cancer. And different people cope in different ways. So I can't sit here and say, oh, Jacob Markstrom shouldn't have played because he should be grieving the loss of his father. No. different people grieve in different ways, and maybe he was the one who went to Travis Green and said, "I'm ready, coach. Put me in. I'm okay, and this is going to help me grieve and help me get through the process and help me heal." And that's fine. So independent of that, though, I don't think Markstrom had that good of a game. I think 2 of the 4 goals at least he could have won it back. And sure, you have to think about the circumstances that maybe he could use more time off or whatever it may be. But I just argue, even from a strict goaltending standpoint, Thatcher Demko has been really good. He's been lights out. He was number 2 in goals against and number 2 in save percentage in the entire NHL. He's the same number of wins as as Jacob Markstrom. That's 5 wins apiece. So why not play him again? Demko was so good on Tuesday night when the Canucks beat Nashville. Why not put him in again tonight? And then if you don't want to run him 3 in a row, which I don't see why not if he's playing well, then you can put Jacob Markstrom in on Saturday, so against Colorado. So I'm not saying that Jacob Markstrom lost in the game, but I don't think he was that sharp or as sharp as he could be. And then of course you look in the big picture, as we should, and consider everything, and maybe or maybe not that his father's recent passing had something to do with it. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that could be a factor. I wouldn't have a problem of having Thatcher Demko net last night. Give Jacob Markstrom a couple more days. You go up to the D, and they had a tough game, especially Edler and Myers. Stetcher. No one played particularly well on defense, and as I talked about, but defense is not just the 2 blue liners; it's all 5 guys and the goaltender playing together, and the forwards not so strong on some back checks, losing the puck a lot in the offensive zone, hence leading to these odd man rushes for Dallas. And for the forwards, they had a rough go of it for sure. I think the one thing that really stands out, 2 things. The power play was very static, very predictable, and didn't look dangerous at all. And the Canucks actually got killed in the faceoff circle last night. You rarely hear that the Canucks are on the losing end of the faceoffs. They pride themselves on being a good faceoff team. Obviously, faceoffs are important because you want to win possession of the puck. But they had Brandon Sutter and Jay Beagle out of the lineup. And that's tough to make up for, right? Those are 2 really, really good face-off men. In fact, they're along with Horvat, there are 3 main guys, and JT Miller. Pedersen rarely takes face-offs. So yeah, Pedersen actually did okay yesterday. He went 6-5 or 6 out of 11, however you want to say it. So, but overall, the Canucks weren't that great in the face-off circle, and it's tough when you look at trying to combat a team like Dallas and a team like that, potentially facing a team like that in the playoffs. You got to remember that the Canucks were out 5 forwards who you consider regulars, right? Roussel hasn't played yet. They're out with a concussion. Then you have Sutter and Beagle, your 3rd and 4th line centers. And then you could argue Tyler Mott is a regular as well. So that's 5 forwards. That's almost half of the forward group was out last night. And then you look at the guys that replaced them. Capable NHL players, but they didn't make the team out of the gate for a reason. So that's Sven Baertschi's of the world, Louis Eriksson, Adam Gaudette, maybe Tim Schaller's in there. So there's at least 4 guys that maybe wouldn't have made the team, coming out of or didn't make the team coming out of training camp, and now are thrust into, and of course Tyler Gravac as well. And he did what he could. He's a Utica player, and he was thrust into 4th line minute. He only got 6 minutes last night. But there's 5 guys that really, so of course you'd rather have Roussel, Ferland, Beagle, Sutter, Mott, as opposed to Baertschi, Eriksson, Gaudette, Gravac, and I'm missing one. Schaller, for instance. So, of course, the Canucks are a little weaker, but it showed last night. They didn't look dangerous. Actually, all their goals were secondary scoring. It was Troy Stetcher with one of the goals and Jake Virtanen. So none of the core 4 or JT Miller, who's also been lighting up as well. So I just thought it was a tough game last night. I was excited to see a good game. I knew Dallas was good. I talked about that in my preview yesterday, but I think they really stymied the Canucks, and they did a really good job of keeping them at bay. And Dallas did a really good job with their transition game and turning pucks over and making the Canucks pay. So Canucks fans, a lot to digest from last night's game, a lot to think about, and really, I would love to know your thoughts. Like I said, if you were either at the game, oh, by the way, I met a lot of you who were at the game last night. It's always nice to see that, to meet people or to reconnect with people that I know from Twitter or from YouTube, whatever it may be. And as I say to you in person when I meet you guys, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos. I know you can be doing anything else, so even take the time and trust me with my layman's analysis, so to speak. I really appreciate that. So let me know, Canucks fans. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me that Dallas poses a tough challenge? Do you think the Canucks are going to have a tough time playing against teams like that who are not only fast but are heavy? Or do you think it's because we're missing guys like Ferland and Roussel who fit in that relatively fast and relatively heavy category. So we're, like I said, Ferland, Roussel, Sutter, Beagle, and Mott. If we have those 5 guys in, do we do better and do we win that game last night? Do you agree with me about Jacob Markstrom? Were you being fine with Thatcher Demko starting? And we don't have to get into the whole grieving thing, but from your experience, from your insight, would you have been fine with Thatcher Demko starting last night as opposed to Jacob Markstrom? So lots to talk about. Leave a comment below. I left a read, react, and reply as always. And I'll be going to the game on tomorrow night against Colorado. Colorado coming off that whooping at the hands of Connor McDavid, 6 points in the Edmonton Oilers. So we'll see what kind of mood Colorado's in. But I'll preview that game tomorrow. For today, let's talk about last night's game. Vancouver losing 4-2 to the Dallas Stars. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Enjoy the day. God bless. Go Canucks, go.